Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud. I'm Nuvyn,
I'm Alex.
and we're delighted that you've joined us today. How are things, Alex?
Oh, great.
Good. I was reading recently that many companies, including, I think, the Alberta government, are going back to full 5 days a week in the office, butts in seats.
I just got goosebumps. Terrible.
The end of an era. The end of the COVID era is officially upon us.
It's true. It's true. It's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well,
What are your
it's funny. I was
thoughts?
talking to my sister, and her place is going back to like full time in the office. And one of the reasons why she took this job was because there was flexibility.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no exceptions. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
You know, I'm just going to go right into it, but I worked at a big bank a couple of years ago, right when they were mandating back to work 3 days a week. And there was a lot of pushback, especially from single moms. And so one of my colleagues said, you know, this is like the least feminist mandate there is. And it demonstrates that, you know, so many people have wives at home who take care of all the stuff. And when you don't have that, it makes that in office so much more difficult. I mean, you and I have talked about, I'm going to do my laundry on, you know, when I'm not on a Zoom call, or I'm going to, you know, I have to pick my kids up early for whatever activity they're going to. And that's extremely helpful in kind of like managing the life part of life. And we also both still work. Like I go on at 10 o'clock at night to do a couple of emails or whatever. And I think there is this ability to manage the work. And then there's this necessity to be seen,
Right.
which doesn't really compute.
Yeah.
And has been proven that it's ineffective.
If I was looking for a job right now, I would be hesitant to take a job that was 100% in the office.
Totally.
Monday to Friday. And I think there are so many more flexible options that if employers are not considering the impact that has on employee retention, employee morale, commitment, and retention in the context of what are other professional opportunities, if you have a choice, sometimes that ranks pretty high on your scale of what makes for a fulfilling work professional life.
Totally. I would agree with you. I think that if I was looking for a job and it was required that I'm in the office 5 days a week, that's a deal breaker for me. And if you think about it, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 was invented, let's say, with the, you know, assembly line era where you had to physically be in the factory putting parts together. And so it's not about being seen, it's about the function of your job. And when a lot of us are, you know, working on our computers, sending emails for a living, we don't necessarily need to physically
Is that what we do? Do we send emails for a living?
Basically, that's our job. But, you know, like you function in a digital space.
Right.
And I even find, you know, we're in office 2 days a week. That for me is incredibly valuable to our team. We see each other. We have those sort of like spontaneous collisions where you have a great idea or you have a really great conversation. But also there are some days where we're just in a meeting the entire day in the office. And so you don't have that.
Now, there is something to be said for face-to-face
Absolutely.
work. I am not a fan of full-time remote work. If you're in a role that actually requires you to network, connect, have those spontaneous or purposeful collisions with people in the office where you are brainstorming, nothing can replace face-to-face. So I understand an employer's desire to create a culture and a work environment where those interactions can occur. However, I think that we need to be mindful of the choice that people have in their careers. And the workforce has changed dramatically throughout COVID and since COVID, and talent is fleeting. So you have to know, you know, where does this rank on your level of priority?
On the note of every employee as an individual, You don't know what's going on at home. Maybe they do have kids. Maybe they have a sick spouse. Maybe they have elderly parents. There are all different types of caregiving that happen. Or maybe they've just gone through a life event that they don't want to talk about at work, and they just need, the time and space to not have to be on in the office all the time. But I agree with you. The in-person work is so valuable. And I think it was Julie Savard Shaw, who's the executive director of the Prosperity Project at our event in September. She said she fully supports in-office activities as long as it is purposeful. It needs to be thoughtful. It needs to be, there needs to be a reason for you to be in the office versus the alternative. And I think that is the perspective. It's like, why would we allow you to work remotely? It should be, why are you going into the office? Like, what is the purpose for your in-office days?
And maybe it's that, I mean, it would be great if the workplace was built more around the school schedules, right?
Yes.
When you alluded to, our concept of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 was built on, what worked for the factory assembly line. This does not work for the school, any of us with kids in school age.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, my kids are 8-ish to 3-ish. So you would have to drop your kid off, then go into the office, which actually works. But then there's these 2 hours where you then have to pay somebody to watch your kid or be home and work at the same time as your kid is just doing whatever. Hopefully homework, but never homework.
Never homework.
Yeah.
Of course not. Yeah. Well, interested to hear from our viewers and listeners, how will the return to work mandates impact you? So keep us informed, keep us posted, and thanks so much for listening to The Quiet Part Out Loud. The Quiet Part Out Loud is produced by Access Connects and brought to you by, oh wait, is there a sponsorship opportunity there? Learn more at accessconnects.com.